Hi there, welcome in. Yeah, come on in, come on in. No need to be shy. Looks like we haven't seen you in here before, but we're always happy to take on new clients. Would you be willing to give me your first and last name and date of birth, please? Awesome. Okay. Okay, perfect. So we offer a lot of different services, as you may have been able to tell from, our signage out front. Are you looking for anything in particular? How did you find us? Okay, yeah. So a wedding planning consultation. Great, so exciting. And you were referred here by a friend. Who is your friend by any chance? Oh my god. We love her. She has been a client for so long. That's really good to hear. Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Well, as you can see, the other desks are kind of, we're filled out with customers today, so I'm going to be taking care of you. Do you see anybody that you would rather work with? We can get you scheduled with somebody. You're good with working with me? Okay, great. So first I'm just going to kind of ask you a lot of questions about what you have in mind for your wedding. We're going to talk about when you got engaged, when you'd like your wedding to be, your deepest desires for weddings and wedding planning from since you were just, a little girl. Yeah? Okay, perfect. And then is the fiance going to be here with us today? Okay, so they might come to a meeting sometime in the future, but they're busy right now. Okay, that's totally fine. All right, so let's get a form started for you. And I am going to use my notebook and get some notes down about your preferences. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Okay. So first of all, tell me everything. When were you engaged? Okay, just about a month ago. Awesome. Tell me the story. Okay. Classic. Oh my god, really? And how's your relationship with the family? Okay. It was kind of a big deal, huh? I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. Okay. Oh my god. What did you think? What are your favorite types of flowers? Oh, okay. So specifically pink roses, not red. And they knew that, and that's what they got you. Oh my god. Nothing like a partner who really knows you. Yeah, that's how you know that, marriage can actually happen. That can actually work. Oh my god. And they knew your favorite song too. But not just your favorite song, like your favorite song for this moment, like the song that you'd been hoping to be proposed to with. Oh my god. I am literally gonna faint. That's amazing. Awesome. Okay, so now we are starting to think about the wedding. Any constraints? Is there a, like, we don't want to have the wedding after this certain time. We don't want to have it before this certain time. What are your thoughts there? Okay. Okay, so we don't want to put it off for too long. You're thinking like 2 years is your maximum. Okay. That's just fine. And yeah, you wanted to kind of ask me. Yeah, so at least with our agency, we kind of like to have at least 6 months to plan, so we would not be wanting to schedule your wedding in less than 6 months away. However, I also kind of have like a, we have a minimum here, but we also have a maximum in my head just because I've been working with couples a lot, and I think it's very helpful to have the wedding sooner rather than later. So I would advocate for 6 months to a year from now, instead of a year to 2 years from now. Yeah, it just kind of prevents frustration from developing, and I think that both parties can get a little bit impatient because a wedding is, not an event devoid of stress. There's going to be some stress involved. That's just kind of how it goes. It's a big thing to plan. It's a big thing to execute. There are lots of people involved. Choices have to be made in terms of, who gets invited, who's in the bridal party, things like that. So it can be pretty stressful. And you kind of just, sometimes you just want to get it over with. And I know that might sound a little bit negative because, a wedding is, like so exciting and like a positive event, and it is, but we just want to keep the magic of your engagement, that feeling, that great feeling going, and keep it going into the wedding. We don't want to wait too long. Okay, so let me pull up my list of venues that we are associated with. By the way, I don't think I introduced myself. My name is Ariel, and if you like our consultation today, I'll be working with you this whole time. I'll be your designated wedding planner. I have always loved, wedding planning and thinking about what my wedding might look like. And it doesn't look like a wedding is in the cards for me anytime soon, but the future is limitless and there's so much time. Yeah, so forgive me if I'm like a little, like a tad bit jealous of you, but no one, there's nothing, no proposal in the works. There's no relationship yet. We're getting there. Life is going, and it will always be going. When did you and your partner meet? Oh my god. Love it. Oh my god. Okay, yes. It's a nice long relationship. Yeah, so you guys know each other really well, huh? That's so good. I'm so happy for you guys. Yeah, I think it's really good to really get to know your partner before making like such a big decision. So that's awesome. Kudos to you guys. Sometimes, it totally depends on the partnership. Like sometimes people can decide like this is what's right for us, and that's your prerogative. It's totally up to you. I just detect that we might be kind of like kindred spirits because I know that I would feel slightly afraid of like making a commitment like that if I wasn't like super sure that I like trusted the person, and that would probably take time just for me, just with the way I trust people. So the way you're talking about it just seems like, yeah. Okay, come on, the internet is being terrible right now. Okay, here's our list of venues. Okay, so it is August 2nd today. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so exactly 6 months from now would be February 2nd of 2027. Okay, now that still seems really close. 6 months is like our minimum, like we would probably prefer a bit more time. So I'm gonna say let's shoot for 9 months to a year. Okay, so 9 months would have us at May 2nd. It's important to give people enough time to clear up their schedules so that they can RSVP to your event, so you can have the people you really want to be there be there. Are you aware of anybody who you like know is going to be on the guest list that has potential conflicts? Maybe there's somebody who's just in general kind of busy and you are kind of worried about them specifically. Okay, so your partner's like cousin, who's kind of like their sibling, like they're really close, they travel a lot for work. That's what you're saying. Okay, so we gotta make sure that they have enough advance notice. Do you think 9 months would be enough, or are we looking more like a year? You can actually just text them right now and see it. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, they already read it? Okay. Yeah, the ellipses are coming in. Okay. So you told them like May 2nd or thereabouts, right? Okay. They say that they would be free. Well, that's great. Okay, so we got one person, How about any other guests who tend to have sort of nebulous schedules or work, like work environments that make it kind of hard for them to get out of commitments that are made like really far in advance? Okay, so you think we might be able to do a wedding in May? Okay, so the only thing is that summer weddings are very popular. Summer, spring weddings. I always consider May to be like kind of summer, especially for when it comes to weddings. It's getting warmer in May usually. I'd consider a spring wedding to be a little more like March and April, and then our fall weddings tend to fall mid-September through November, and then of course winter would be just December, January and February. But if we are looking at a summer wedding, first of all, is that something you want? I know it can get pretty hot here. Okay, yeah, so your partner is from, okay, yeah, so that's a little bit further up north in the state, and that's going to be actually really, really nice in May. Yeah, okay, so let me just write down that location. And that's what, like 2 hours away from here? How many guests do you think are going to be coming from here versus from up there where your partner's family lives? Maybe half and half? Okay. So it's not like, I mean, it's like, could kind of be considered a destination wedding, which means we're going to need to consider costs. Either you will have to assume the costs of, transporting folks over, giving them lodging, or you're going to have to ask people to do that, and that might mean you're going to have a slimmer guest list. Not a lot of people, or some people might not be willing to, pay extra for that. But it is sort of like hard to reconcile that because half of the family is coming from up there, half are coming from out here. So if you had the wedding done here, you'd still have to be transporting people from up there. So, and since the weather's so nice up there. Okay, let me go into my thing and look at the venues for up there. That's nice. It's a smaller town. It's got really, really, really cute, foresty, mountainy vibes. That's great. Okay, so we're looking basically the whole month of May. May 2nd is close enough to May 1st for me to just have us look at the whole month. Okay. All right, so a couple of venues are popping up. There is, let's see, we have places free for, well, May 2nd, which is what we were looking at originally. So May 2nd, May 7th, May 22nd, May 29th, and May 30th. So 2nd, 22nd, 7th, 29th, 30th. Okay. I should have asked you any conflicts that you have in May. That would be a little important, you or your partner. Okay, perfect. So May seems to be like pretty good. Okay, now let's look at what venues are available. So on the 2nd of May, there's a really nice church available. The pictures are so cute. You can check it out. And I'll be sure to send all of this to you in an email after our consultation. So the venue, it's going to be sort of in, like a more forested, wooded area. And we've got the mountains rising up behind. Yeah, and then lots of wildflowers and a little brook too. So that's gonna be, it's like very specifically like a wedding venue. Like there's like a little chapel, and then an outdoor chapel, and then there's a reception hall. Now, another place that's available on the 2nd is just a reception hall, and that's more downtown. So that's like, you can see here, it's kind of it's like in the like old town where there's like the train tracks and like the cute shops and bars and stuff. So that is pretty cute. It's just not like immersed in nature, and the celebration would have to be somewhere else, and then everybody would go over to that reception venue. So that's for the 2nd. For the 7th, we have that same reception only venue. And then we also have a church that's open with a courtyard area. And the courtyard area is where clients tend to have their reception. So the church will kind of like get you all set up with tables and chairs, and there seems to be a lot of space for guests, caterers, the like. And so it'd be kind of like an outdoor, like a little bit more understated. It looks like this would be a little bit cheaper because it's not necessarily a reception venue. It's more like the church, and then a little party afterward in the church. Okay. Now, the 22nd is where we have probably the most luxurious venue open. So this place is, wow, I mean, just look at the pictures. Yeah, so I think the goal of this place is to kind of give you the vibe of like a castle, like sort of like a princessy, like Disney-esque wedding, because this is like a historic building that has been repurposed into a celebration hall, and it has these beautiful like glass, like crystal spires going up, and then a lot of stained glass, and then it has this hall that's like the floor is totally marble, pillars with like gold filigree on it, and then outside is a courtyard garden area where there's like a labyrinth with a fountain, a hedge maze, lots of fairy lights, just like the works basically. Yeah, so it would be, looks like you would get married in the celebration hall, and then the celebration hall would be like changed around by the staff there to become the reception hall, while everybody's hanging out in the courtyard having like hors d'oeuvres and drinks and stuff, and then people can choose to hang out in the reception hall or the courtyard for the rest of the night. In here they take care of literally everything for you. So they take care of the cake, they take care of the music situation, all that stuff, whereas at that venue I told you about at first, which you seem to, yeah, you kind of liked the sound of that. It's kind of a pretty like forested area. It is like, you know, it's a venue, but you have to make arrangements for a DJ or a band, and you have to make arrangements for the cake. So that's what's available on the 22nd. And then, yeah, it's pretty, like, that one's really high demand. So if you did want that, we would need to book it today. We wouldn't be able to deliberate about it again. The 29th and the 30th are both, okay, looks like places that are kind of smaller. If you wanted to have a bit of a smaller wedding, these are places sort of up in more toward the mountains, so kind of out of town. And it's these people, these lovely, like this couple that books out their farmhouse for weddings and other celebrations. So you'd get married there, and then you'd kind of have the reception in this lovely, like, kind of like meadow area that, you know, you and your friends and family would have to kind of do a lot of the setup that you'd want, like, customized. And then the couple would provide some, you know, some seating arrangements for family and friends, and like they'd provide everything they have in the way of like tables, chairs, and stuff like that. But this would have to be a little bit smaller. They don't accept the celebration to have over 50 guests. Okay. Thoughts? Give them all to me right now. Sure. Okay. So we don't really like the idea of the downtown reception area. Yeah, it can be kind of stressful, like transporting everybody from like the church to the reception area. Okay. I'll make a note of that. You really like the idea of that sort of like princessy, super high demand venue, but you're wondering if it's maybe out of budget. Sure. Yeah, I like to, with my clients, I like to present options and then talk about budgeting, just because I don't want anybody's, I just want to let everybody know about everything that's available before we start talking about the, you know, sad stuff, which is how much money it actually costs. Thanks for following me out here. Don't know why the power suddenly went off within the building, but we're good out here. Let's continue checking out the venues. Okay, so tell me the budgeting details. This is what we're going to start looking at next. Okay. Would you like some help kind of deciding? Sure, okay. So the way I like to go about this is I like to talk about what you guys earn collectively in a year, okay? And then we will get the budget based off of that. So what do you earn in a year? Sure, okay. And how about your partner? Okay, about the same. Okay, cool. And then how about general, like what's your lifestyle like? Are you guys lead a costly life or more of a like a frugal, less expensive life? Okay. Yeah, what sort of incidentals do you guys run into on the regular? Okay, so some medical expenses for family members. Okay. And then so your cat is on the older side and tends to need to go to the vet a lot. Okay. Okay, and then any foreknowledge of raises potentially being in the future for either of you? Okay, how long away might that be? Sure, okay. Now, this is like totally up to you guys. Just telling me like what fraction of, or let's start with this. Would you rather spend like a relatively large amount of money on your wedding, a relatively average amount of money on your wedding, or less than usual on your wedding compared to couples out there? Average, okay. And okay, perfect. How about if you were to say, like, here's a percentage of my income that goes into things other than like necessities, right, for a year? What percentage of that would you be willing to devote to your wedding? Yeah, so if you were to say like 100%, that means there would be no eating out, no little like vacations, no like a very, very light Christmas and birthdays for the year, that sort of thing, like kind of a no buy year maybe, other than things with wedding, of course, because that would be in your wedding budget, but like you would kind of keep yourself from going shopping. Kind of like maybe no going out with the girls to brunch, you know, that sort of thing. No manis and petties, no like hair appointments, just kind of keeping it very basic for the year. So that would be if you were to spend 100% of that extra money on the wedding. If you were to go like 50%, then you could just take everything you do throughout the year and just cut in half. Okay, yeah, sure. So we're thinking kind of 75%, sure. Okay. So with all this information, I'm going to say that maybe this palace, really luxurious venue idea is off the table. Yeah, unless, I mean, if you really, really want it, you know, and you can look at more pictures as we're here together, but if you really, really want it, you could go ahead and raise that 75% up a little bit. You could, maybe one of you could pick up, you know, a side hustle or something, or you could just kind of be aware that you guys are going to be going into a bit of debt. Maybe you like don't buy that car until like a couple of years after you were going to, something like that. It would just have to be, you guys have to be aware and cognizant. But I think you guys could definitely make the sort of woodsy venue work. It's very much on the average, you know, just like regular, what couples tend to spend on their weddings. For the venue specifically, it's very much there. And then the farmhouse one it's a little bit less, but because it does have that sort of vibe of being like an intimate wedding, the venue still charges very close to what the other larger venue would charge. So it's like if you want that sort of smaller farmhouse, sort of like more in the wild vibe, definitely go with the farmhouse one. But if you want to be able to invite more people, I don't think you'd be missing out on much if you just went with the regular venue. Okay, we're thinking regular venue for now. Okay, that's just fine. It's so pretty. So now here's the thing. When we do talk about having like an average cost per venue, that's just the venue, but remember, you know, people are going to be, you know, going up there, probably needing to stay the night. It is kind of a long trip. Yeah, so when we consider that, there are some ways to cut costs on the venue itself. First of all, in terms of flower arrangements, we can get some really, really nice, super pretty faux flower arrangements for you guys. Our agency is really good at doing that. A lot of people, when they hear, you know, faux flower arrangements, they get a little bit kind of nervous because you want everything to feel super natural and pretty and very sophisticated and put together at your wedding. Of course, it's a big celebration, it's a big deal. But floral arrangements can cost a lot, and we have some of the most creative people in town in this group. Like, trust me, I'll show you some pictures. We can make it absolutely gorgeous, okay? Okay, so here you go. Okay, take a look. They look pretty real, right? And yeah, I mean, it's not like, you know, the goal is not to like fool anybody into thinking like, oh my god, those flowers are real. You know, it's gonna be pretty clear, but as long as it's elegant and beautiful, you know, and we will, you know, keep the venue, like, we can have scents in the venue that are floral. I think it should be fine. So just consider that. That is one way to cut down on the cost. Another way, the cake. Thoughts on, as a child, did you always consider like the most like extravagant, amazing wedding cake? Okay, so like, is it, how like, is it really high on your list of priorities for the wedding? Is it higher than the venue itself? Yeah, so I like to ask questions like this. I tend to assume that the dress is of higher priority than most other things. Is that correct for you? Okay, so we can rank like, oh my god, okay, so the dress is like highest priority, then we have like the venue, and then the cake. Or is it dress, cake, venue, or is it something else? Okay, dress, venue, cake. So something I like to do is just for people to, some nice cheap options like Save the Wedding Cakes. Thoughts? Okay, yeah, not opposed. Okay, because some really, really beautiful creations can be made at Walmart or Safeway. Yeah, it can just be gorgeous. Like this, we had a client have this cake and they just adored it. It was lovely. It doesn't have to be like it's a cake, you know, like it's gonna taste good because it's cake, in my opinion. Okay, this is how I would do my wedding, but yeah, see, so pretty, right? And it doesn't break the bank. So I'm thinking floral arrangements, and we can sprinkle in some real flowers in there too, like, you know, some maybe like the buffet table or something can have like real floral arrangements on either side. That's the place everybody's going to be going to, so you're not like picking favorite tables or anything. And then the you know, like the bridal table where you and your partner are going to be eating can have real flowers. Like it doesn't have to be all faux. Okay, so flowers and cake could be where we kind of cut down on costs to make up for maybe having to pay for a couple people's lodging, transportation, and stuff. Usually people can get away with like having family members, you know, pay their way for a semi-destination wedding, because parents, grandparents like tend to have enough money to maybe, you know, give that as a gift. You know, like, yeah, we're just gonna pay for it, it'll be fun. But I would not really recommend just assuming that friends your age are gonna be able to do that. That might come across a little bit not good. So obviously floral arrangements, cake and stuff, it's not going to completely make up for that. Okay, so good to be back in the office again. Sorry about that. Hopefully it wasn't too unpleasant. It's kind of nice out. But anyway, so we talked a little bit about, you know, cutting costs to make up for having to, you know, drive some people out and lodge them. But we also need to continue to think about making sure costs stay low, because, you know, flowers and cake and, you know, making some maybe more like responsible decisions with those things isn't really going to make up for everything. So let's just keep that in the back of our mind. In terms of the wedding dress, which we just mentioned, give me all of your thoughts on it. I want to hear it all. What dress have you envisioned forever? Okay. So we're thinking A-line, yeah. How do we want the skirt? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna put you in contact with a designer that works very closely with our agency, and she is just really good at the whole dress thing, and she's going to go over with you the differences between, you know, getting a custom made dress and going in and just finding a dress that's right for you and then getting it fitted and making alterations and getting it tailored. There are benefits to both. If you really, really, really want that like luxury experience of having a custom made dress, then it's going to cost more, but you won't have to do alterations. However, based on our budgeting, what are you think you already kind of like have seen? Okay, maybe we don't need to get you in contact with her then. Is there a place that you... Sure, yeah. Okay, yeah, that one bridal store in the mall off of... Yeah. Okay. Well, I can meet you there at some point this week and we can get you in that dress, take lots of photos so we know what accessories we want to get for you, and talk about alterations. Yeah, okay. How does Wednesday sound at 3? What's your work schedule like? Okay, that works for you. Okay, perfect. Awesome. That's really exciting. Have you by any chance like looked at the the price tag on that, or... And oh, that's really not too bad. That's not as bad as I usually hear. Okay, great. In terms of hair and makeup, some brides have family members that are really good at that stuff that offer to do that on the wedding day, but I actually would advise against it because you don't want somebody, you know, important to you who's going to be like in the wedding feeling all this pressure to do that task for you, and for a bunch of other people it's just not going to be a fun experience for them. I generally do advise hiring a makeup artist or hairstylist. Okay, so you would like to hire a hairstylist, but you're thinking everybody just does their makeup. Okay. Awesome. Sweet. Photography and videography. Okay. You've already really been thinking about this. You found somebody. Okay. Pretty average pricing. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, well, at least we got that down. The most important thing here is that you let this photographer and the videographer, you let them both know that we are the dates we are considering. I'm going to say that they need to get back to us. I'm going to have you ask for them to get back to you with like a yes or no on our respective dates within a week. And if they're like, oh, that's like really just not enough time, you can give them an extra week. And then if even that's just not enough, then we can start thinking about maybe somebody else who can kind of look that far in advance is going to be a better fit for us. Does that sound okay? Okay. Great. And then you haven't picked a hairstylist or even like looked for one, right? Okay. Well, we have a ton that work with our agency that actually, because you're going to be, you know, paying for our wedding planning services, you'll get a discount on the stylist herself. So would you like to take advantage of that perk? Awesome. Okay, so yeah, so we are going to take care of, I'm just going to get you a rundown of how this is going to go for the next 9 months. We're going to be taking care of the venue, so communicating with people at the venue. Basically, based on everything you tell us, if you haven't found somebody or you haven't like had your eye on somebody for a role, we are going to get that person for you at the best price that we can, because we don't want you stressing about it. I mean, the whole point of you coming to us is so that you can not worry so much about the wedding. We are going to take care of details relating to all your dress fittings, the food selections, the RSVP cards, the even stuff like what you're going to be wearing on your wedding day, party favors for the bridal party, the bachelorette party, the bachelor party, stuff like that. So everything is going to be run by you though. So like we are going to be in pretty constant communication. In terms of my sort of work-life balance, I won't be able to sort of message back and forth after like work hours. So I usually work just from 9 to 5 on weekdays. So if it's 5 p.m. to, you know, all the way through like, you know, like 8 a.m., usually I just won't really be available. And then if it's the weekends, I won't be available. But if something does come up, just message me and then I'll just get back to you when I'm back to my work phone. Cool. Okay. And then if you really, really need to like talk about something, just call the work phone and I will get on it. And then we can, there's some like pricing details in terms of like how long calls are on times that I'm off work. If it's just like a 5-minute call, you're not going to get charged for it, so don't worry about that. But if it is a little bit longer, I will have to charge you. Do you want to go over that now or just have that knowledge? Okay, sure. Okay, this is so exciting. One of the things we will talk about once we know if we have the venue is like colors, like what our theme is going to be, scents, the like whether you want your bridal party to be matching in terms of like ties and dresses and what that color is going to be. Yeah, the reason we want to wait till we get the venue is because the venue has some colors of its own, and then I want to be there with you while we tour it. And then we can go out to coffee right after. And with everything fresh in our mind, we're just going to make a whole list of everything that you like want based on what you've seen. Sweet. Could I though get a read on what you like think you might like in terms of colors and themes? Oh, okay. So a nice like sort of like lavender mauve thing with like a cream, like an off-white cream secondary color. What about like any sort of like tertiary like highlights? What might you like for those? Okay, so like baby pink and navy blue. Oh, that's gonna look so nice. Okay, great. What I'm gonna do is between now and our next meeting, I'm gonna meet on my own with the head of our head florist, and we're going to talk about potentially getting faux arrangements with these colors. I have been in her workshop and seen something that looks like just like this. I'm sure you're all good with this. And then so the table arrangements, you know, like napkins, placemats, table runners and stuff, it's gonna fit this theme, and that's gonna be sort of like taken care of by us and the venue. So all you'll need to do is just whenever I send you images of like what the set might look like, you just give the okay, or actually I want something to be a little bit different. It's gonna be they're going to have sets in these colors, but they just might have different materials. So like there might be one where the cream color is all lace, and there might be one where the baby pink color is all lace. And so that's the nice thing about this one in particular, is there's always a lot of options. That's why we really like to work with them. How does that sound? Okay. Do you maybe have any ideas that I could just write down now so we can like have less, you know, troubles later on? Like, you like the idea of the cream being the lacy one? Yeah, that's pretty bridal. I like that. Okay. Any other ideas about materials? I know that they generally keep like every color for materials like, what is it? They have like the silk, chiffon, satin, velvet, the lace. Okay, pink you'd like on silk, and then the others would be satin. Okay. And then how about like a secondary option if that just falls through? Sure. So you'd like, okay, we want to keep the cream being lacy is what we want to keep above all. Okay, I'll circle that. And then otherwise everything else could kind of switch up. Totally. Okay. That sounds great. Scents. Do you have like a favorite scent? What we like to do is we like to inundate the venue with something pretty distinct so that whenever you smell that later on in your life, you will remember your wedding day. Our brains are very olfactory, so maybe you want to think about that a little bit. Well, I do have a list of just like scents that we've used in the past, because this can be kind of a weird one to think about just because you may not have been asked this question before. You know, like, what's your favorite smell? I know a lot of people will say petrichor or like aged book smells, but that might not be what you want for your wedding. So it can be different. Okay, let's bring this up. Okay, so we've got like a cherry blossom thing where the undertones can include almond, chocolate, and vanilla. And you can also do like different combinations of these undertones, makes it really fun. We also have what we call like a sunshine blend, which is going to be a mixture of citrus smells and honey and vanilla. And then, oh, also there's a version of the sunshine blend that instead of citrus includes strawberry instead. Then we have like, and none of these are too overpowering. Like, we have kind of nailed the formula to make sure that, you know, when guests walk in, it's not like, oh my gosh, like, you know, that would be completely the opposite of what we want. We want it to be a scent that's like sort of in the background, making everything seem more elegant, even more festive, and that will let you remember the day forever. But it shouldn't be like knocking you out of your socks like immediately, because that's never fun with scents. Yeah. So another one is like a super like very like basic like pine forest smell, and you're already going to be in the pines. So this could just be nice because we wouldn't hammer down the pine smell, but we would hammer down the undertone. And the main undertone there is butterscotch. It's really lovely, and there's kind of like a smoky, like a very, 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 very subtle smoky fragrance kind of like mixed in with that. Those are just some examples of what we could do. We could also do like, this one is called chocolate shake. One of my friends in the agency named it, and she actually came up with it because she adores a good chocolate milkshake. So this one, obviously the main scent is chocolate, but it also has vanilla and coffee undertones, and then you can also choose to have caramel added to that as well. So that's always nice. And that one, you can also have cherry, like if you have like a maraschino cherry in your milkshake. Do any of those sound good to you? Like, just off the bat, do you want to come up with a new scent mixture of your own? Okay, so you like the idea of the cherry and the pine ones, but you'd maybe like to come up with something on your own. Sure. Have you been thinking in the back of your mind, like since I asked you like what your favorite smell is for something like a wedding? Yeah, sometimes it's good to like think back on like what your favorite skincare products have been, or like your favorite like, you know, pampering products, hygiene products that have smelled really nice. Okay, so you had like a leave-in conditioner that it had like a smell that you really liked. Oh, okay, it was kind of like mango-ish. Yeah, so that sounds lovely. I will just say that would be like a tropical blend, which we do have those. But there might be a little bit of like olfactory dissonance between the pines and the forest and a tropical blend. It's totally fine if that's what you want to go with. It's just something I like to warn my clients about. You also like the idea of having like a honeysuckle blend. Ooh, that sounds lovely. So like the primary scent would be honey, like a nice floral scent, and then you'd have other things mixed in. Sounds great. Sweet. Yeah, we can talk about that. You can take, you know, as much time as you want basically to get that nailed down, because we don't really need that detail till a bit later in the process. So it's one of the later things we need. And then, oh, I forgot to ask you, these colors that we laid out, do you want those to be included in the, when we do RSVP card stuff? Yeah, these are your official colors for like everything. Okay, one thing that's been a little bit popular is using a website. So a website for you and your partner, that's specifically for your wedding, where we do send out an RSVP card, but it has like a QR code on it. You can scan it when you get it, and then you go to the website, and that's where you can like make your meal selections. That's where you can add to the registry and talk, like basically give notice of like, you know, like, oh, this is how many people you put on my RSVP card, because like, you know that I have a family of 4, so you put 4, but only 2 of us are gonna be able to come. It's where you can just put that sort of thing on there. Or any notifications about allergies, any notifications about like where, if they need a place to sit that's like maybe like specialized, like they need to be closer to the bathroom, or they need to be, you know, anything like that. So is that of interest to you? It would be a fun process of, we have like a website template, but we would have all your colors on the website, a picture of you and your partner, or, you know, picture 2 or 3 of you guys. Have you guys done like a photo shoot together? Would you like that to be something that we offer you in our package? Yeah, we would do the photo shoot before making the website go live. The photo shoot would be kind of like for the website and for the RSVP card. Okay, I'll think about it. Okay, I'll write that down. Okay, but the website is a go. Yeah. Okay. And then the card is just gonna be like a lovely, like, the material is gonna be a bit more sturdy than like normal paper, and it's gonna have your colors and everything. It's gonna have a picture, save the date, and then I'll have the QR code. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to get all the information you need without people mailing things back, because sometimes that doesn't go as well as we hope it will. Okay, so the website is a go. Music selections, specifically for like before the ceremony and during the ceremony. When it comes to the reception, we can talk about whether you want band, DJ, whatever. They offer certain like packages. But do you, like, one that people really like is, well, I'm sure you know this, but like Pachelbel's Canon and Here Comes the Bride is one of those, like, is any variation of one of those, like with different instruments, with different like flourishes, whatever, something you want to do, or do you want to go different? You already have an idea, you want to go a bit different. Okay. What were you thinking? Yeah? Oh, that sounds lovely. How about like instrumentation? Is this something where you want to have the live violinist there, or do you want it to be a recording? An actual violinist? That's so sweet, I love it. That's gonna cost more, just like, okay, perfect. Well, you're super easy because you have already thought about a lot of this stuff, so that's perfect. That sounds like a dream, truly. Okay, dietary restrictions for you and your partner. They're a vegetarian, okay. Anything for you? Allergies, anything? Okay, now just expanding a little bit, how about for the people that you kind of like are aware you want to have in your bridal party. One of them is gluten-free. And for the families, there's another vegetarian. Okay. Oh, and somebody's allergic to peanuts. Okay, very important. Speaking of the bridal party, decisions are going to have to be made. Some brides have told me they don't want the stress. They just give me a list of names and they say, you know what? There's a limited number of spaces. Pick randomly. It's not on my shoulders. What do you think? Yeah, okay. So you already have kind of an idea, but there's like a couple that you are a little bit like on the fence about, like choosing between. Okay. Do you want me to be the one to randomly decide? You want to do it still? Okay, it's just going to take you a bit more time. That's totally fine. But go ahead and give me a list of names for the potential bridesmaids, because I just want to have, in case there are any names that are like particularly long, I want to know, just because what we might do for like gifts for the bridal party is like have something with their name on it, like just a little something. Like some brides like to do, I've seen brides give like robes with names on it. I've seen brides give like a cute little like flower arrangement that has like the name on like the little vase. You can really do like some really cute things, but it's nice to have it personalized. Okay, let's hear some names. No last names. I think first name is fine. Yeah. My gosh, your friends have such pretty names. Okay, so we are between Ellen and Gemma for the final spot. Okay, and then Rose is the mother of the groom. Okay, perfect. And which one is your mom? Okay, perfect. So we got Helena as your mom. Okay, so out of Alexis, Tiffany, and Anna, which one is, do you already know who the maid of honor is going to be? Okay, so Anna is the lucky girl. Perfect. So you're basically looking at a bridal party of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, of 6 people. You could just include both Gemma and Ellen if you wanted to, and have a bridal party of 7. Is there like a reason? Okay, so you kind of budgeted it out with the, okay, with the bachelorette party, you want to have 6 is the limit. That's totally fine. That is totally fine. Any issues you foresee with, any drama you foresee? I just like to keep a pulse on that because you don't want drama. And if we can do anything to maybe keep certain people apart and, you know, seating arrangements or anything like that, then we want to help you. Okay, so both Gemma and Ellen are going to be coming to the wedding, but only one is going to be in the bridal party. Like, are they both, like, how close do you, they're both like equally, do they both expect to be in the bridal party? Maybe. Okay. One thing that we are good at is crisis PR management, because any company has to be. So we can be the people to break the news to whichever one does not get the job. So I want you to take that stressor off of your plate right now. Okay, we'll just make sure that they don't really interact much at the wedding. Yeah, that's what you have me for. I'll be there the whole time. making sure things like that don't happen. How's the relationship between your mom and the mother of the groom? Okay, so Rose and Helena get along pretty well. They're not like best friends, but they get along. Great. How about your relationship with Rose, the mother of the groom? Sometimes that can get a bit dicey. It's pretty okay. Okay. So what I'm hearing is it's not perfect. You'd rather it be a bit better, but it's not bad either. You don't need us to step in. We are going to be aware, though. We're going to have like awareness, and if we need to step in, we will make that call, and we will do it so subtly you won't even notice. This is your day. It's about protecting your peace. Okay. Do you know any of these girls' favorite colors? Again, this is stuff that we can like address in later meetings, but if we can knock it out now, that's just nice. Okay, Alexis likes a light purple. Rose is a fan of sunshine yellow. Okay. Tiffany, we're not sure. She tends to change around. Okay. And then yes, both Ella and Gemma we want to get a read on, just like whatever you choose, we just want to know. Okay, Ellen is a blue, like an ocean blue. And Gemma is like a baby pink. And then the dearest maid of honor, Anna, what's her favorite color? That'll be important. Okay, teal. Okay, so as you might have noticed while telling these colors to me, they're kind of different. They're not really gonna mesh together. That's fine. We're just going to make sure each little gift is tailored to the person. And then because Anna's favorite color is teal and she's your maid of honor, I want to think about somehow incorporating teal into her outfit for the day. Your colors, again, just to remind you, are like a lavender mauve purple, cream, baby pink, and navy blue. So I'm assuming you would like dresses and ties to match that. Okay, perfect. We just like to make sure that the maid of honor feels like this sort of like sense of appreciation in like little ways. We're an agency that tries to look at the little things. So if there's any way we can incorporate teal into her outfit specifically, I think we should do that. It can be just a little detail in the jewelry. It can be something bigger, like a scarf around the wrist or something. But I'm just gonna note that. And we are definitely gonna need to have her here at the meetings. If she wants to, if you want to. It's just more fun to have maid of honor. Yeah, okay. Usually maid of honors are just like thrilled to be a part of that process. Okay. Great. Now, number of days for lodging and stuff. You're gonna want the people who are, you're gonna want your bridal party and family members to be there at least one day before because of the rehearsal and the rehearsal dinner. And then you might want to get those people accommodations for the night of the wedding as well, because people are going to be, and like it's just a bit more polite. Does that sound good to you? Okay, so that's 2 nights. Okay, so you guys would like to take the burden of 2 nights for the bridal party and the families. Do you know who is on the list for your partner for the groomsmen? Or just how many? 6 again. 6. Okay. So we're already up to 12 people that we need to find lodging for. Are any of these people partners with each other? Oh, great. Okay, so that takes it down to 11. I mean, still, we might assign roommates anyway, just to be more frugal, or if you want to splurge on friends, we can. Totally up to you. How about family? Who is gonna be joining us on this special occasion? We got your mom and dad, your brother, your cousin, and like extended family is not really what we're talking about here, like super extended family. This is like people that you want to be like right in the thick of it, doing the, you know, like the things that we need to rehearse for. And then your partner's mom and dad, his sister, and that cousin that we talked about too. Okay, that's pretty easy. Grandparents, no grandparents. Okay. Okay, so that's 4 people for each of you, so that's an extra 8 people. So we add that to the 12, and we do have 20 people that we need to figure out lodging for and transportation for. Okay. Any desire to cut that number down? How close are you with your cousin? Because usually we don't, like, it just depends, but usually it's mother and father of both sides and direct siblings. I know that your partner is super close with their cousin, so that's a bit different. Are you as close? Okay. Let's just put a maybe there. Sorry, I'm just trying to save you money, but just let me know if you don't want to be making choices like this. I know it's stressful. For your bridal part, well, first of all, your brother, is there a +1? Okay, yes, +1. How about +1 for your partner's sister and no +1 for your partner's cousin? Okay, Alexis, Tiffany, Anna. Any +1s? Okay, Alexis and her husband, Tiffany and her partner, and Anna's just, okay. Ellen and Gemma. Each of them would be +1. And for the groomsmen, only one of them has a partner. Okay. And then the other one is, oh, perfect. Okay, so the other one's the boyfriend of Tiffany. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 +1s. So we're gonna add that, 26. Have we thought about flower girl, ring bearer? Like, are these children of, because we do have to add that. Okay, so Alexis is technically +2 because she has her daughter. Got it. And then Tiffany, you'd like her nephew to be the ring bearer. Okay. You guys are really close. Oh, he's basically your little brother. That's so sweet. Okay. So, 28 people. Now with the kids, makes it a little bit easy. I'm just gonna put 26 + 2 kids. How many of these people live in the state? Okay, so you are gonna be flying in. You're gonna be flying in your partner's parents' sister, and cousin. Everybody else is in the state. Oh, and your sister's +1. Okay, that's 5 people to fly in. Everybody else is driving. Okay, let's just, for driving, you can certainly offer to reimburse people for the gas money and stuff, but it's actually not super traditional to do so. So if somebody brings that up, we can cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, but flying in, that's a much bigger expense that does need to be considered. Okay, so 5 people we're paying for transportation for, 28 people we're paying for lodging for. Let's see, lodging kind of around there. There is, there's, you know, like a variety of like cheaper like motel style places that we could house people in, and we could assign people roommates. People who don't have families or partners coming with them, we could assign together. So for example, the groomsmen, most of them would be remain together, and then Anna could be rooming with, because Anna would room alone. So Anna would be alone, also, you know, kind of luxurious because she's the maid of honor. So lots of groomsmen remain together, Anna rooming alone. The only other person who doesn't have a +1, I mean the parents and stuff are going to be rooming together, I assume. Yeah. The only person, the other person who doesn't have a +1 is going to be your partner's cousin. And so maybe, actually maybe he can room with one of the groomsmen. Perfect. Okay, so that's going to cut down on prices a little bit if you're willing to do that. Again, these are just thoughts. You could be like, no, I want everybody to have their own space for the 2 nights, and that's totally fine. It's totally up to you. We just like to offer suggestions for keeping costs low. But options that, do you want me to give you lower cost options, or do you want me to just like not? Okay, Motel 6 nearby, Days Inn nearby. Those are going to be like really, really close. So that's what I would recommend. And, you know, this early, we can like totally book out a lot of rooms. Yeah, you're willing. Yeah, you know, you guys are young. Like, you can't necessarily afford to be putting everybody in a Hilton. And that's okay. I don't think people are expecting that either. Okay. Great. So, any particular preference between Motel 6 and Days Inn? You had a bad experience at a Motel 6 one time? Okay, we'll go with Days Inn. Okay. So I'm going to calculate all that out for you. I'm going to make some phone calls, and then I can give you the quote for how much all this is going to cost, including the flying those 5 people in. Where are they coming from? Okay. Also St. Paul. So I'll look at flights, try to find the cheapest. And I'm going to kind of give that to you just because it's the early stages. If I have anything I could do for you, I'm going to just get it done and give it to you. But it would be great if you could like tell everybody that like the prospective dates and when they would need to be here for like the day before. Basically, they need to be here the day before. And if anybody says I can't do that, then just let me know right away so that I can kind of alter my calculations here. And yeah, I'll just be giving you a quote for like each prospective date. We can actually choose a date maybe next meeting, or you know, within the next couple meetings. I know there's a lot of people we have to reach out to. Okay, so we've gone over venue, methods of cutting costs, the bridal party, the families, lodging, transportation, wedding colors, the RSVP cards and website. We've talked about the scents. You guys have agreed to doing a photo shoot, or you're thinking about possibly doing the photo shoot with us. The music for while you're walking down the aisle and before the ceremony. We've talked about restrictions in terms of food. We've talked about the dress, and we're going to meet at the bridal store Wednesday at 3. We are going to get you a hairstylist. You already have a photographer and videographer in mind. We have talked about the favorite colors of your bridesmaids. Talked about the timing of the wedding. The location, like the town that we want to do it in and why. Okay. I think we have gone over a lot today. I'm very proud of us. This can be somewhat stressful. I think there's one other thing I want to talk to you about, which is drinks. What are your guys' thoughts on, like, are you good? Okay, so we want to have an open bar. So that's going to be a really big cost. I'm sure you already know that. Okay, so it's just going to be a cost that it's going to have to be absorbed because it seems to be something you guys really want. Perfect. Okay. And then just, it's helpful to just know, I will be asking you again as we get closer to the wedding, but is there anybody we want to watch out for when it comes to the open bar? Okay, the groom's father. All right, I'll write that down. Okay. Next time we meet, hopefully Anna will be there. This could be so fun. Let's have the next time we meet be at like a cafe or something. Yeah, and I'll cover it because it's, you know, the first time the 3 of us are all meeting together, and it'll just be fun. Yes, of course. I mean, you already decided to remove 75% of your incidental spending for the year, so yeah, come on, I'll cover it. Hey, I'm not getting married anytime soon, so I can afford this. Okay. Feeling good. I know it's stressful. It just is. But I promise you this is gonna, well, I'm going to do my absolute best to make this such a fun experience for you. Wedding planning, I think wedding planning is amazing. I mean, it's my job. But I think it can definitely be done in a way where everything just seems so scary and stressful, and I don't want that for you. Yeah, I'm here for you. Okay, awesome. So basically you'll just go up to our receptionist. She has already come around and noticed, you know, that we're talking what we're talking about. If she asks you any questions, just let her know. If you have any questions for me, just let me know. I'll go up there with you. And just gonna have you sign some things, and then we will get a contract underway. Okay, this is so exciting. I love when new brides come in and we start a new adventure together. Okay. All right, thank you so much for coming in. Go ahead and meet Kate up there at the desk, and I can't wait for our partnership together.